Hello, people. So full disclaimer here, this video is really a bit of a rant. I don't deny that. That's the purpose, and that's what I feel like doing. But I think it's a justified rant, and I think it's something that other people can relate to. So I'm going to talk about it. Because for one thing, talking helps me anyway, or speaking helps me, even if it's just venting into the camera. It helps calm me down a little bit. Because the sort of situation I'm talking about is very frustrating. And I reckon most people watching this can relate to something similar. Here it goes. The issue is consumer rights. When you are in, let's say, in the service of a big company, for want of a better term, if you're relying on a big company, right, and you find that you're having technical problems and you're trying to get help, and you just feel like you're going in circles, and it feels like a David and Goliath situation. That might be an overused sort of saying, but I think it applies here because, for a Joe average like me, I've got limited power. All I can do is provide the information and hope for the best. A big multinational company, in my opinion, should have no excuses for sloppy customer service. So, the issue I have, and if anyone has any answers to this, I'm all ears. I'd be very grateful for any productive follow up. PayPal. I've been using PayPal for a long time, but a few months ago I was having access issues. I just couldn't get into my account. I tried resetting the password. I tried double checking that I'd spelled my email address correctly, the one I'd always used. I just was not getting into the account. Um, so in the end, after trying this for several days, I thought I have no choice here. I'm just going to have to set up a new account, and it meant losing a small amount of money, £10 that I'd already had in my funds on the old account. But basically, I teach online. This is why I use PayPal. And my student who's in the Far East, she's in China, she pays me by PayPal. But recently, I've been having a problem with my funds on hold. I can see the money, it's there in the account, the amount that she pays in, but it's on hold for some reason. Now, at first, I rationalised this well. I've got a new account, they're just trying to verify it's a sincere account, etc. And I kind of accepted that. And a few days ago, I did manage to get some of the funds out, but for some reason, they still kept a bit left over. Now I'm having the same problem again. The new money that the student's paying in is just being kept on hold, and it's disconcerting because I don't know, am I going to get that money out or not, or am I going to have to wait another 21 days? Whereas before, I was able to access those funds immediately. Now, I go to PayPal's Facebook page. Um, trying to get an answer on the timeline is useless. So I go to the sort of self-service button. Chat to one of our advisors. Of course, it's an automated message, which is the worst invention created by humanity, in my opinion. It is useless. They can't understand even basic things. Please give us your email so we can help. Access your account or help resolve the problem. Give my email. Sorry, we do not understand. Honestly, trying to speak to a robot, it's the worst invention in my opinion. It really is. It's useless. It's not fit for purpose. So I get a human advisor. I thought, okay, maybe we'll get somewhere here. And then she gives me these complicated instructions, which ostensibly are to help me resolve the case. So I asked, like, please give me time, as this is a little bit complex. I need to go through it. Um, I'm not raising my voice. I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to go with the flow. And then she just vanishes. This was like 20 minutes ago. I'm still waiting for her. Not like, please give me time, I will get back to you, something like that. She just vanishes. Um, oh, it looks like she's replied now. and yeah, she said exactly the same thing. Honestly, it's a waste of time. And the most frustrating thing about this is you're relying on a giant. I mean, PayPal's a big multinational company. I think the problem is a basic lack of empathy. You know, they're happy for people to use their service, but when people have problems, I have to say on a previous occasion, I had a more helpful advisor. But she has. I've just looked. She's literally just repeated exactly the same thing as before. I don't know if I'm even dealing with an. I assume this is a real person because there's a name, but there's another problem, which is I'm just wondering should I reply to this or not. I mean, just repeating the same thing, so I don't think she's listening to me. But if you're in the UK, Curry's PC World is a big electronics company. They used to be separate companies, they're not now amalgamated. They have a service called Know How, which is the worst company I've ever dealt with, period. I think it is the very worst. Basically, that's meant to be the self-help center. If you get products that are not working, I got a laptop, it just kept closing down, it failed me, and try to get help from these people. They send you in circles. They charge you money for simple things when they could have just given you instructions in the first place. It's a terrible company, and if you can avoid it, if you can, go to an independent technician or something because really, know how. Curry's PC World Know How is it's an absolute travesty. If you look at their Facebook page, last time I looked, literally 100% of comments are negative. Now, if I'm CEO of a company like that, I'd be thinking, well, we have a problem here. Clearly, we are not delivering a good service. Clearly, people are not happy. It's not like 20% of comments are negative, 100%. And it angers me because they have contempt for the regular person who is going through enormous stress trying to sort of these things out. And for people who say, "Oh, it's no big deal," and they try to put the onus on the consumer, I think that's a very unfair thing to do because the consumer isn't the person with power. The big multinational companies are. The onus is on them to provide a good service, which means useful advice, which means listening to what people are saying, and they don't do that. It's immensely frustrating. Um, and perhaps this is the ugly side of capitalism, where you do get these very powerful, very wealthy, big multinational companies, and then you have the regular person who's trying to circumnavigate them. It's. I'm not saying they're all bad. Some will obviously be better than others, but it does leave a bitter taste when you're trying to deal with ones that are totally inefficient. And it's all very well saying, oh, you don't have to use the service. But then if they're so dominant in the industry, it's difficult to find alternatives. I mean, PayPal, for example, if someone can advise me on an efficient international medium to make financial transactions that's obviously legal and legitimate and has a good reputation, I'd be prepared to listen to that. Because honestly, PayPal, this thing about keeping funds on hold, it just puts consumers in a complete wilderness. You know, I I don't have any negative feedback. I haven't ever had any issues with payment or anything like that, so I shouldn't have a bad account in that sense. I could understand if I'd had some like issues where I owed someone money or whatever, that would be an issue with my account, but that has never happened. So it's immensely frustrating. If anyone could give me any feedback, I'd be most grateful. Rant over.